The snow didn't fall that night. It drifted, slow, deliberate, like something searching for a place to lay its grief down. 46 men knelt beneath it in white robes, each one facing a wooden bucket placed with the precision of a grave marker. The shogun wanted quiet. He wanted order. He wanted their deaths to look obedient. But nothing about this courtyard was obedient, and nothing about the path that led these men here was clean. They weren't criminals. They weren't rebels. They were samurai who had done the one thing samurai were shaped for. They avenged their lord, and for that, Japan demanded their lives. Tonight, we open a story that stalked an empire, a story where loyalty learned to wait in darkness, where honor didn't guide men but hollowed them, and where vengeance lived longer than the ones who carried it. This is the lost past, and this is the night 47 shadows stepped into legend and taught the world what honor consumes when it grows hungry. The palace that cracked. Before the silence, before the 2 years that vanished from Japan's memory, there was a lord named Asano Naganori, raised to bow, raised to endure, raised within rules so strict they were treated like gravity. But power had a face and a voice. Kira Yoshinaka, a court official wrapped in silk and entitlement, a man who cut reputations the way others cut paper, neatly with pleasure. He wanted gifts. He wanted tribute. He wanted men to kneel with their dignity already surrendered. Asano refused. So Kira chose the weapon he trusted most, humiliation. Not in secret, not in whispers, but openly, in front of nobles, retainers, guards. He carved Asano with precision, mocked his ancestry, pushed him again and again toward a place from which a man does not return unchanged. And inside the shogun's palace, a place where drawing steel meant death. Asano reached that place. The blade flashed. Kira's skin opened. Blood struck the polished floor, and the palace shattered in a single heartbeat. Kira lived. Asano was ordered to die. Not because he attacked, but because he interrupted the ritual of obedience that held the government together. Japan believed the story ended with Asano's final breath, but they forgot the one truth every empire learns too late. A master can die and still command the living. Loyalty, once wounded, doesn't fade. It waits. The years that weren't there. After Asano's death, 47 samurai met in a room that felt too large without him. Ueshi Yoshio, still measured, devastating in his clarity, spoke the words that would fracture the country. We kill Kira, or we die on the way. Kira expected revenge. He fortified his mansion. He hired more guards. He filled the city with eyes that watched the dark. So the Ronin did the one thing he could not imagine. They came apart, slowly, deliberately, perfectly. Some became merchants, some carpenters, some married into lives that weren't meant to last. Ueshi, the spine that held them together, walked into ruin on purpose. He slept in alleys, drank until he collapsed. Let humiliation erase the man he used to be, so the truth beneath him could move unseen. Kira's spies watched, reported, relaxed. The Ronin have broken. Nothing was broken. Steel had simply folded itself where no one could see its edge. 2 years. No movement. No whispers. No shadows where shadows should not be. Just a silence coiled tight enough to cut. And behind shuttered doors every night, 47 voices return to a single vow. When the gate opens, the story ends. The night breath left the fortress. December 14, 1702. A cold that didn't just touch skin, it searched for bone. An hour before dawn, where even time hesitates. The Ronin reunited, 47 men standing shoulder to shoulder, snow settling on armor that looked carved for burial. Ueshi spoke once. We don't survive this, we finish it. Then they moved. Not like rebels, not like assassins, like inevitability given form. They surrounded Kira's mansion, cut off the exits, turned the night into a sealed room. And then, the world broke open. The gates didn't open. They disintegrated. Torches fell. Steel screamed. Guards vanished into shapes that had rehearsed death for 2 years without making a sound. This wasn't fury. This wasn't revenge. This was a promise reaching the moment it had been waiting for. Room by room, hallway by hallway, breath by breath, The fortress, built to withstand armies, folded under the weight of men who had already accepted the cost of their purpose. Then, in a garden glazed with snow, they found footprints. Small, hurried, afraid, leading to a locked room. Inside, Kira Yoshinaka, not the official, not the voice of cruelty, just a man standing in the echo of his own consequences. Oishi offered him the mercy Asano was denied. Die by your own hand, Kira refused. So the Ronin did what duty demanded. They took his head, washed it, wrapped it gently, the way one handles something sacred or cursed, then carried it through the snow to Asano's grave. And there, in the cold that held its breath, 47 men bowed. Justice didn't speak that night. It didn't need to. The order that could not be escaped. Japan woke in pieces. Some saw heroes, some saw criminals. Some felt fear for the first time. Fear of men whose loyalty outlived their master. But the shogun saw something else, a story that could unravel the state. If these men lived, every samurai in the empire would learn that obedience could be overturned by a promise held long enough. So he crafted a sentence as cold as it was immaculate. They would die, but die as samurai. Seppuku, a punishment dressed as honor, a reward sharpened into silence. The government could not afford their breath, not even one more, and the shogun knew a final truth. If he let them live, their story would spread. If he killed them, their story would never end. The morning without time, January 1703. 46 Ronin knelt in white robes, snow settling on them like the last touch the world would offer. One had already taken his life. Unable to wait for the ending, he had carried like a stone inside his chest. Officials placed tatami mats, clean water, wooden buckets that waited without expression, every detail exact, every detail quiet. Oishi stepped forward first, not as the leader, not as the avenger, as the final link in a chain he had chosen to anchor with his own blood. His breath did not tremble, his eyes did not wander. He simply completed the story at the point where it always intended to stop. Then the others followed, not with panic, not with hesitation, but with a rhythm so absolute it felt older than any law the shogun had ever written. One life, then another, until the courtyard emptied itself of breath and the snow fell on stillness instead of men. A part of Japan died with them, the part that believed loyalty was gentle or safe or free. They were buried beside Asano, as they had always intended, not as symbols, not as rebels, but as proof that a vow carried long enough outgrows the men who made it. The truth honor hides. For centuries the story refused silence. Some called them saints, some called them zealots, some worshipped their devotion, others feared its shape. But beneath every version lives the truth honor will never admit. Honor is not guidance, honor is appetite. It feeds on the men who follow it, cut by cut, breath by breath, until nothing remains but the scars their loyalty leaves behind. 47 men stepped forward. 46 paid the price written into their promise. And in the end, the truth that survived them all was this: they didn't choose vengeance. Vengeance chose them. This is the lost past, and this was the 47 Ronin. The night honor became hunger,